Willie D Live.
But I want to get, I asked you, because I'd be like, yo, when the people that are on YouTube, they're talking about being smart. And I'd be like, but how much of your ad do you get? And nobody knows. So what's smart about that?
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm like, if I can't tell you how much is being made, I'm not doing it. I'm getting robbed.
In my defense,
not you.
I'm not
don't
smart.
take it personal.
Hold on.
Yeah, don't take it personal.
I got to, because the people probably gonna get in the comments and be like, So I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I ain't trying to be smart. I'm acting like I'm trying to get smart. I'm trying to be smart. I'm just trying to be smart. I ain't there all the way.
But that's not there all the way.
I'm trying to be smart. But you're absolutely right about that split. You know, it's ridiculous. But at this, so it's either you deal with it, or you go do your own thing, or you just quit. You leave it alone. And quitting is not an option, right? And that's the spirit that I love from Damon Dash. I mean, dude, have you thought about going into Deion Sanders' locker room and talk to those players?
I don't think they need it. Deion doing a great job.
But he still brings people in to inspire, to motivate the
if
players.
you ask me, I would definitely come through. It's the hot place to be right now.
I'm putting it out there right now, dude. Like, a person sit and listen to you for any amount of time, dude, man, you're going to feel like you can do something. I mean, you make a midget think he can dunk a basketball.
They can.
You know what I'm saying?
Figure it out.
If they
really want to, they're going to figure that out.
If they got a little help, you know what I'm saying? Got a little springboard or something like that. But, man, where did that spirit come from, though, bro? Like, was there a person in your life that you looked at and said, I want to be like that guy, I want to take some of those attributes that he have or she has and, mold this person that I want to become?
It's a collective of people. So it's like, I remember who I looked up to when I was in the street and why. It was a respect that came with honor that I really liked a lot. And I was kind of like, I'm born into a family that didn't take L's like that. So I've only seen W's from my family. I've never seen anyone in my family get bullied ever. I've only seen my family bullying, white or black. So I never saw abuse happening this way. I only saw it getting administered. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, so anywhere, anybody in my family generally has somewhat of that kind of an energy, but I was able to go get myself educated because they put in so much work so that I didn't have to do all the shit that they did. And I still chose a different path for a little while just from instincts. But I knew that when I went to like private school, I was around white people young and I wasn't impressed. And I saw how they were impressed with me. So I was like, I actually thought, I was like, damn, I must be this strong because I'm black and they're white. I wonder if I could be this strong around black people. And that's why I hit the hood, just to prove to myself that, and unconsciously I was insecure about it. I wanted to know if these hands worked with black people. I thought it was just because I always thought it was just because they couldn't dance. I always looked at it like they was my food. You understand what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, why is y'all thinking these guys are tough? Like, that's why I used to get at Harvey Weinstein, and you see, I'm the guy that calls those guys out. Right. So I'd be like, how y'all think this guy's tough? And y'all, you know what I mean? I don't get it. So, there were things that Russell did that I liked a lot. There was things that Muhammad Ali did that I loved. I observed him. There was things that Martin Luther King did that I loved because he was beefing in the town that it was going down. He was in the church while I was outside talking. It's easy to talk about white people when they're not in front of you and you're not in the battle. I might not be so strong in Alabama or whatever, you know what I mean? But he was there like that, and I liked the way he got people. I was like, how did he get black people to get just hit and watered down? It was such a genius plan to embarrass whoever was abusing them by not hitting, because I know what it's like. It's like if somebody hit me soft and I knocked them out, now I'm the bad guy just because I defended myself. So it was like, how did you get a whole lot of black people just to, understand the strategy in that? And it worked so well, So, and then it's Farrakhan, Farrakhan taught me about farming. You know what I mean? Like, we've never talked about the other stuff. We just talk about why is it that we don't learn how to grow our own food? How do we trust our oppressor to feed us? And why is it that we got to eat all these GMO seeds? And I go to his farm and I see children and people like growing, and it's a beautiful thing. And I'm like, damn, they never show that side of him. Because that's the side that we really We don't know how to. We don't control the stuff that makes us live. We don't know who makes our food, our medicine. You know, we generally don't own our buildings. We're here. We're just renting life, and that's the way they want it. And we're not conscious of that. You know? Some people be like, man, if there's a war, whatever, I'm going to just go be a farmer. Man, I lived on the farm for 2 months or a month just to observe. That is not an easy thing. You can't just say I'm going to be a farmer. That's like saying I'm just going to be a rapper and get a platinum record, or I'm going to just get in the music business. It's a lot of different elements there. So we have to learn the fundamentals, and we can't forget that in history we were winning, and we can't let them erase that. So even down to the way we interpret the name Jesus. That's a European interpretation of the name. His name is Joshua. Why no one calls me Damon, anything but Damon wherever I go in the world? Why would we have to now say somebody's name with a European interpretation of the name and it didn't happen in Europe? That doesn't make sense other than control. How could you tell, if somebody tells me they're a fan of mine and they calling me Damien, I'm going to be like, my name's Damon. How could you really be a fan of mine? You're not calling me by my real name. So how could you get a full blessing? You're calling this man by his wrong name because we've been programmed to. You understand what I'm saying? You know, again, when it was a time when white people or the other culture were slaves and the Moors did them dirty. But did they ever teach you about a Moor in school? No more Moors. You don't even, because they don't want to see that visual of us winning, because that's what you do when you take over a culture. You take their religion, you erase their heroes, their artifacts, and anything they ever did strong, and you make them think that they've never been strong and they've always been weak and they've always needed you. And that's how they did this to us. Look how strong we are. Why are we listening to them?
Well, that's the only way it would work. They'd have to discredit us in order to justify the mistreatment.
And they make us discredit ourselves.
They have to do that. Yeah, right. And they're so good at it that they've actually convinced a lot of us to actually aid them in destroying our image.
Leo Cohen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I look at those people that are exploiting our dysfunction and making money for it for a living their whole life. When I see a man that's not from our culture never make money off his own culture and only ours, why you only want to get money on my block? Go get money on your own block. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to trust somebody from someplace else to do and take care of my hood. They don't care about my hood. They're not from here. They're just making money from it. And we continuously think that somebody that's from another culture is the plug for our music, for everything that we do. We got to go to them to get back to us. That's the program I watched them push. So I'm like, I'm just not a Johnny like that. I'd rather fight. I'd rather fight all night. You know what I'm saying? Then go home and be like, yo, this sucker just told me what to do, and I got to internalize that. My girl just saw that. My kid just saw that when he come through. You know how many people I see that talk tough in the street, and then they get in front of certain people, and they get this stupid-ass voice like they're a weatherman. And I'm like, why are you talking like that when this man walk in the room? You don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you changing yourself? They should change when they talk to us. So a lot of what I do is watch your mouth. With a Leor and certain people. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Tread lightly here. Because you have to have a certain amount of respect. You controls nothing here. This our culture. You ain't going to tell me what to do, pause, or who to do it with. Your enemies ain't my enemies, like Mandela said. I ain't got to be mad at everybody you mad at, but you don't got to be mad at everybody I'm mad at. And another thing, again, we're programmed to only make products for us. So every single black person that has a business makes it for black people. That's not enough people and too many people trying to hustle on the same block. We got to be able to make products for everybody. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's the issue. We are programmed to think we can only do things for us. We can only lead us, and everything we do and that we make could be for us. That's why it's called America New. The new America is for everybody, but it's us that are the landlords. That's the difference.
Yeah, you're definitely changing the narrative, man. You're definitely doing your part to change the narrative.
I'm trying.
But sometimes you have to feel overwhelmed, though.
All the time, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's not an overwhelming thing. It's just too much to do.
But you perform well under pressure. It's like you welcome pressure. And I like what you said a while back when you was talking about how you expect things to be difficult. You expect things to be bad. A lot of people wake up every day and they think the world is just going to be, the world is just going to welcome them with open arms and it's going to be polite to them and everything is going to go great.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, but I operate similar to the way you do. I expect bad things to happen. I expect life to be difficult on a daily basis, and when it does, I don't panic because I expected that. I expected it. A lot of people, when they don't expect that, and something happened, they panic.
I know.
And they lose control and they become desperate and things like that. So by expecting these things to happen, by expecting something to not always be easy, I'm able to actually deal with a lot of these things easily. I see Steve Rogers here. He owns a club, multiple restaurants and venues in the city, and every day he's putting out fires. He knows that, being in the business as long as he's been in the business.
That's what a boss does.
He knows that he's going to have to put out fires, and he wouldn't be able to do and be able to operate at his optimum if he didn't understand that. And you just mentioned boss, but here's the thing. I've heard you talk about how first of all, you are a boss, but depending on the context, you don't like the word boss. It's one of the words that irks you because you don't like the idea of
I don't like somebody else being my boss.
You don't like somebody else being your boss. But
that's not going to happen.
But it seems like to me you also, even though technically you are the boss, it seems like you have a problem with that word, period.
Well, I don't have a problem with the word. I just, like when people work, I'll say they work with me. Like you can't work with me unless you have a dream. Unless you want to be the boss of your own, because you're helping me with my dream. And how could you fight for my dream if you ain't fighting for your own? You won't. So I got to watch you fight for your dream. And I don't pay people enough to even be able to retire to work. You only work with me because I can give you an opportunity and I want you to exploit that. So if you don't, and I tell people around me, like, if you have a dream and you're fighting for it and you're around someone that doesn't, all they're going to do is distract you. They have nothing to talk to you about. What are they going to talk to you about that's going to help your dream? All they will do is talk to you about things that will distract you because they have nothing to talk about that they're fighting for. So you have to have a collective of people that are dreaming and fighting for a war, or else they're going to distract you from the war. When I'm having conversations with people in this moment, not always, but right now, I've been investing in this network for 10 years, way over $20 million, and that's out my pocket. And I'm waiting for this thing to turn around. So I already did the record label. I know what that yields. It doesn't do it. I do the fashion. I know what it yields. All those things can only be ancillary things, a division of. But I can't be my business model because it doesn't make enough money unless you're robbing your artist. So when you hear people say, I just sold someone else's masters for a lot of money, they just robbed their artist. You understand what I'm saying? I never took none of my artists' masters. So could you imagine me with Jay-Z's masters or Kanye's masters or any one of the masters? I'd be a trillionaire. But see, the thing about it is, if you keep a creative rich, you get Kanye, you get Jay-Z. Creatives have ideas all day. They just can't make them happen because they ain't got no money, and then they got to get robbed to do it, and it doesn't become the idea they want. So I always wanted to keep my artists rich because it's so interesting what they do when they have money, when the ideas come to fruition. I don't think I deserve to make so much money off somebody else. That's why I had to start doing my own thing. I gave everybody a 15-year head start. Like, I'll help y'all get there so I can have a little competition. Now the games begin. Now I'm going to work on my brand. And that's what I've been doing. So we get to make books. I get to be with principals. I get to do art. I get to do fly shit. As soon as I pulled up, I already knew this was a collective because I do collective. So as soon as I pulled up, I asked myself, that looks like a collective. I already knew it was a collective because I do it. I've been doing it. I've been opening up art galleries since 2005. I like to do different things. I like to start from scratch and just to see if I could do it. So if I could do it like this, I want to see if I could do it like this. So I'm doing it like this now because I already did it like this when I was a teenager. It's too easy. If I could go and do all of this that quick, then I got to go dream bigger. And it just takes a long time. The bigger your dream is, the longer it takes to realize yourself, the more money you got to put out.